So we want to talk about if statements. If statements are used to do things based on some certain conditions. Let's say I have a variable. So I can say that if var, let's say we call it variable time. Let's say 8. So we can say that if time is greater than 8, that is anything after 8, I want to sleep. If time is greater than 8, sleep. So that is where if statement comes in. Whenever you want to do some things based on some certain conditions, that is, these conditions are met, I want to get this thing done. So I can say if time is greater than 8, then sleep. Let's just say alert sleep. So the structure of an if statement is that it starts with if. You first write the word if. You open parentheses inside it. If parentheses, your conditions, the condition you want to ensure that is met will be within this place. You put your condition here. If this condition is met, then it's going to do whatever you have inside these curly braces. But if the condition inside this parenthesis is not met, it's not going to do whatever you have inside these curly braces. That means if time is not greater than 8, then it's not going to alert sleep. You can have a lot of quotes inside these curly braces, but the whole idea of this statement is that the condition here must be met before it comes here. If the condition here is not met, it will not come into these curly braces. Any questions so far? Okay, let's proceed. So based on that explanation, will it alert sleep or not? I'm asking us now. Do you think it will alert sleep or not? Hello? Hello? Do you think we are going to see sleep on the screen or not? Hello everyone.
Hello, boss.
I can hear you.
Yeah, can you hear me, please?
Yes, I can hear you.
So, what's the question, sir?
Will it alert sleep or not?
So, it will not.
Okay, can you tell us why?
Yes, from the condition, the variable time is equal to 8.
Okay.
And the condition we have here is the time must be greater than 8.
Okay.
But unfortunately, the time is not greater than 8. So, so that's false.
Alright, thank you. Exactly. Time is not greater than 8. Because time is not greater than 8, it will not come here. So, but let's assume time is a value like 10. 10 is greater than 8. So for that reason, it will alert sleep. Any questions so far? And that's why we can see this sleep here. Let's proceed. Please, I want our participation. I want us to participate more, talk, ask questions. If I ask quick questions, also answer. I want more participation from us.
Yes, boss.
So we have this. We are currently doing something called conditional operation. So under this, we have some operators. This we've looked at greater than sign. We also have the less than sign. We can say if time is less than 8, do something for us. That is, if this condition is met, of course 10 is not less than 8, so for that reason it's not going to alert sleep. It won't. We also have the less than or equal to. Let's look at this. imagine that the value of this is 8. You know, if you run this is not going to alert sleep because 8 is not lesser than 8. But if it were to be less than or equal to, so as long as the value of time is less than 8 or the value of time is equal to 8, it will alert sleep.
Yes.
So in this case, it will alert sleep because 8 is equals to 8. If this were to be 6 also, it will still alert sleep because time, which is 6, is lesser than 8. But if it's a value like 12, 12 does not meet this condition. 12 is not lesser than 8, and 12 is not equal to 8. For that reason, it's not going to alert sleep. It's not going to. Okay. Let's proceed. So we also have the greater than or equal to. Then we want to look at the double equal to. Let's discuss why we need this. What if I want to do something like this? If time is equal to 12, if time is equal to 12, alert sleep. And when we go to the browser, of course, you know time is 12, right? Time is 12.
Yes.
If time is equal to 12, alert sleep. When we go to the browser, it's going to alert sleep. Good. Everything is working fine. Let's move on. What if time is 7? And you know, based on the explanation I gave, this should not alert sleep, isn't it? Because 7 is not equal to 12. Thank you, Newton. So, but somehow it's still giving us sleep. Why is this so? Let's discuss it together. The reason is this. Let's comment out this and talk more on this part. In JavaScript, this equal sign is used to assign a value to a variable. That is, time is 7. If I come here and say time equals to, and I have alert time, this is going to give me 2. That means the content of this time will change from 7 to 2 when it gets to line 15. And when you say alert time, it's going to alert the last value of time. I come again. You created a container on line 14. We created a container called time. We inserted 7 in that container. On the next line, we are changing the content of that container to 2. So the content of container time will change from 7 to 2. When you say alert time, it's going to alert the last content of the container, which is 2. So that means with this equal sign now, we've been able to change the content of this container time. And you can keep changing it. In fact, if I come here and I say time equals to, let's say, Ajayi. When you say alert time, this is going to alert Ajayi. Initially, we created a container called time. We inserted 7 inside it. We changed the content of that container to 2. This is going to change the content of that container to Ajayi. When you say alert time, it's going to alert Ajayi. So the equal sign helps us to change or to set the content of a container. So we say that the equal sign is an assignment operator. It is used to assign a value to a variable. If I right from line 14, you can see that we use the equal sign to assign this 7 to this variable time. So how does that now affect what you are doing? The same thing is going to happen here. Because this equal sign, its work in JavaScript is to assign. So when it gets here, it's going to assign 12 to time. So it's not, and you know, we are not trying to assign a value to time. We are only interested in checking if what we have inside time is 12, not to change the content of time to 12. I come again. This line will change the content of time to 12, But what we really want to do is not to change. We only want to compare. We want to compare time to 12 if they are the same. And if they are the same, then alert sleep. But if they are not the same, we don't want to alert sleep. But unfortunately, this equal sign is going to assign 12 to time. And that's why we saw this on the screen. Any question?
So how do we solve this issue? Answer.
Okay.
So I was thinking that the first time, which is 7.
Okay.
Fine. So I understand that one. That the assignments of. So what I mean is, since the time in this, the time is equal to 12.
Okay.
Since this one is a conditional, since it is included inside the conditional statement or bracket, I was thinking it should not behave like that.
Okay. Well, some languages will not even allow us to do assignment operation here. Instead, this is going to throw an error. But some
Exactly,
languages,
sir.
but JavaScript as a language allows us to assign a value here to a variable. And that is what's going to happen is we assign this 12 to this. Some languages allow you, some don't. Some don't. So this JavaScript is one of those languages that allow us to do assignment operation inside this place. So it allows us to assign a value to a variable right here. And with that now, the value of time is going to change to 12, and this is going to give you 30. This is going to be 2. We are going to look at, hopefully if time permits us tonight, we'll look at 30 and 40. If time permits us. If not, we consider that in the next class. So this part is going to give you 2, because this equal sign has changed the value of time to 12. But to solve that problem, you use the double equal sign. Because the single equal sign is an assignment operator, we were given the double equal sign now as a comparison operator. This does not assign a value to a variable. This only compares. So the double equal sign is a comparison operator. It's going to check if the value of time is equal to 12. And if this condition is true, it will alert sleep. Any questions so far? Sorry, someone wants to join. Any questions so far? Okay. So this is not going to alert sleep because this condition is not true. But let's assume this is 12. 12 is 12, so this is going to alert sleep. And that's why we have this here, sleep.
Wow.
Now, but there's a little problem with this double equal sign. If this is this, sorry, someone wants to join. So if this is in quotes, who can tell me this data type? I think we've looked at it in maybe the last 3 classes or so. Who can tell me the data type of this variable?
So that's string.
Good. String. Anything in quote is a string. Thank you. So the double equal sign, we still see them as the same. Reason being that the double equal sign is only interested in the value, not the data type. So it will still tell you that these two are the same, even though they are not the same. This is a string, this is a number. And when you use the double equal sign to check, it will tell you that they are the same because it only checks value, not data type. So it will still alert sleep. So there are some circumstances whereby you want to check if the value and the data type are the same. So in that case, we use the triple equal sign. So this checks both value and data type. So in this case now, if you change it to triple equals sign, it's not going to alert sleep because this condition is no longer true. Before this can be true, the two values must be the same and the two data types must also be the same. This is a string, while this is a number. For that reason, they are not the same and it's not going to alert sleep. That's why we can say anything at this time. But if both of them are either numbers or both of them are string, then it's going to alert sleep, because in that case both the value and data type are the same. So that's for the triple equal sign. Any questions so far? Okay, let's proceed. So we've seen circumstances whereby we executed some okay.
Hello, sir.
I can hear you. What's that?
Sorry for the interruption. My network cut off, and I'll be very glad if you explain the equal to sign, the first one, and then the 3 that you use, because I really want to get them. Thank you very much.
Now, a single equal sign is an assignment operator. This is going to change the value of time to 2. But inside this place, most times you are not ready or interested in changing the value of time. You only want to check. So for that reason, you will at least use the single equal sign here. Because like I said, you only want to check. You only want to compare, not to assign. Not to assign. So that brings us to the double equal sign. The double equal sign compares. It checks if the value of time is equal to 2. Is 12 equals to? No, 12 is not equal to 2. So for that reason, it's not going to alert sleep. Oh, sorry. Please, can you hear me?
Yes, boss.
Yes, we can hear you.
Sorry. So for that reason, it's not going to alert sleep, being that the value of time is not equal to 2. This only compares, it does not assign. So it's going to check and it's not going to allow sleep. But then we said there are some situations whereby you want to compare not just values alone, but also data types. This double equal sign only compares value, and the implication of that is that it's going to see, it will see 2 and 2 as the same. The double equal sign will tell you that this is the same as this. But we know that this is a number and this is a string. So anything in quote is a string. This is a number and this is a string. So in situations whereby you want to compare both the value and the data type, then you use the triple equal sign. Before this can be seen as true, now if you are using the triple equal sign, the two of them needs to either be both strings or the two of them needs to be both numbers, like this. If one of them is a string and the other is a number, then it will tell you that they are not the same. This is not the same as this. The triple equal sign, we usually call it exactly equal to, that the two of them must be exactly the same thing for it to tell you that they are the same. But as long as one of them differs in terms of either data type or in terms of value, sorry, someone wants to join. So as long as one of them differs in either value or data type, the triple equal sign will tell you that they are different. Do you understand?
Yes, please.
So far we've looked at situations whereby we executed some commands if maybe a certain condition is met. But what if you want to execute other commands if the condition is not met? Because at the moment, if this condition is true, we alert sleep. But what if you still want to do some things if the condition is not true? So that brings us to the else part. else. You can write it like this. Else. You can write it like this. So that brings us to the else part. Whatever you have inside these curly braces will be executed if this condition is not met. So it's like you have two options. If the condition is met, do this thing for me, do this part. If the condition is not met, then do this part for me. So let's say I want to watch movie till, let's say till 8. Right. I want to watch movie till 8. Once it's anything after 8, I want to go to bed. So let's say the time is 6. I can say if time is equal to is greater than or equal to 8, sleep, else watch movie. So it's going to check if the value of time is greater than or equal to 8, that is 8 and above, 8, 9, 10, 11. So it will alert sleep. But as long as time is not greater than or equal to 8, in this case time is 6, it will alert watch movie. It will alert watch movie. So that is the if else for you. So let's play a bit on this before we move on. So what we're going to do is that we are going to create an input, a button. So the user will type H here. Let's say type your H, type H. So when the user clicks on this button, if the H here is, let's say 0 to 18, so, or 0 to 17, we say, oh, you cannot vote. 18 and above, we say you can vote. So on click of this button, call on a function, check voter. So once you check the H here, whatever the user types here, then if it is 18 and above, allow the user to vote. If it's less than 18, do not allow the user to vote. So check voter. You can put the display here, div id display. So this is where we're going to display our results. So firstly, in order to get the value of this, I will use the id voter h. Let h equals, in order to get whatever the user types here, we say voter h dot value. You know, this is an editable container, so we use the dot value.
Yes.
Now, whatever you get from a string is always, whatever you get from an input is always a string, always, irrespective. In fact, even if the type here is number, type number, whatever you get from an input is always a string. You can verify that by doing this type of, I think I've once discussed this type of to us, type of h. This type of tells us the data type of a variable, tell us the type of h. So this is a number, like this is an input type number. Now if I type a value here, where is this now? I can type of check voter. So I'll click call on this function, then run the code cell. Then click string. So you will agree with me that 10 should be a number, but really seeing it as a string. So we can now come here and say if the value of h is greater than or equal to 18, that is 18 and above, then tell us display you can vote inside this place. So we say display dot inner text equals to you can vote. But if it doesn't meet this condition, let's say it's lesser than 18, you are ineligible to vote. So the user comes here, we can do this. Since, of course, whether you put double quote around it or no quotes, or like whether you put quote around it or not, it still work fine anyway. It will still work fine because we are not checking the data type. But since we know that this will always be a string, so it's better you do something like this. So let's say I typed 12, you are ineligible to vote. Let's say I type 30, you can vote. So, so it's telling me you can vote. What's going on? Oh, okay. What you're going to do is that we convert all of them to numbers. I think this is giving me a little, you two should not be giving us you can vote. What you're going to do is that we convert them to numbers. This here is a string. Now, if we leave it like this, things will work fine. But like I said, it's not good that you compare things of different data type. It's not a good practice. While it's giving us expected results, you are ineligible to vote. You can vote. It's not good to compare things of different data type. It's not a good practice. As much as possible, avoid it. Even though JavaScript allows you to avoid it if you can. So I'll convert it to number. I think we've looked at something like this in our previous classes. Number, we convert this value to a number, then you can now check. So this works perfectly. You can vote. You are ineligible to vote. Any questions so far? Who doesn't understand what I just explained? Okay, let's move on. So I'll give us an assignment on this. And here's the assignment. So once you have a button, a big button, inside this I have Peter. Let's make the button big. So I'll just style it. So, okay, good. You have a big button. So here is the assignment. When I click on this button, you change the content of this Peter to Paul. When I click on it again, it goes back to Peter. When I click on it, it goes to Paul. When I click on it, it goes to Peter. Peter, Paul, Peter, Paul, Peter, Paul, Peter, Paul. Do you understand? When I click, it goes to Peter. When I click again, it goes to Paul. When I click, it goes to Peter. Click, Paul. Click, Peter. Click. So we are toggling between Peter and Paul. Any question on this? Okay. So in absence of questions, we're going to call it a day. And what's wrong with my network? So in order of questions, we're going to call it a day. Please work on my assignments. I expect us to tie your hands on these assignments as much as possible. I want you to tie your hands on these assignments. I want good submission, a good number of us to submit the assignment. So in our next class, we continue from this if statement. We're going to look at some other parts of if statements in the next class. Thanks for coming. You're welcome. Rhoda, I see you. Thanks for coming. Thank you.